All right, let's talk about the silent, powerful heart of pretty much everything in our modern lives, the lithium-ion battery. We're going to peel back the layers and figure out the secrets that decide how long your phone lasts, how much punch your power tools have, and yeah, how far your car can actually go on a single charge.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? One battery literally fits in the palm of your hand, and the other can weigh hundreds and hundreds of pounds. They're both called lithium ion. So what's the deal? What's the secret that makes them so incredibly different on the inside?
Well, the answer, it turns out, is all in their secret chemical recipe. So today, we're going to crack the code. We're going to take that confusing alphabet soup of battery types you always hear about, LFP, NMC, NCA, and we're going to make it all make sense.
So to really get our heads around this, the very first thing we have to understand is that lithium ion isn't just one type of battery. It's so much more helpful to think of it like a family name. You've got all these different members in the family, and each one gets its own unique personality, its own special set of skills from the different materials used to make it. These unique recipes create batteries with totally different strengths and, you guessed it, weaknesses. And that brings us to the single most important idea in the entire world of batteries. You have to remember this. There is no such thing as a perfect battery. It just doesn't exist. Everything is a trade-off. Okay, see this chart? This is basically our map for this whole explainer. Think of it like a report card. Every single battery chemistry out there is in a constant tug of war, trying to find the best possible balance between these 6 competing factors. So let's quickly break down what they all mean. First on the list is specific energy. Honestly, the easiest way to think about this is like the gas tank in a car. The bigger the number, the bigger the gas tank. It's that simple. For our gadgets, it means longer runtime. For an EV, it means more range. Then we've got specific power. Now, don't get this mixed up with the last one. This is not about how long the battery lasts, it's about how hard it can punch. It's the oomph factor, that raw ability to just dump a ton of current in an instant. It's what gives you that crazy acceleration in an EV or lets your power drill tear through solid wood. Next up, safety. And this one is, well, absolutely critical. This is all about how chemically stable the battery is, how well it can handle heat without getting into trouble. A bad score here means a higher risk of something called thermal runaway, which is basically a catastrophic chain reaction you want to avoid at all costs.
Lifespan is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. How many times can you charge it all the way up and drain it all the way down before it starts to get old and can't hold as much juice? Like our old phones. So if a battery has a cycle life of 2,000, you could theoretically charge it every single day for over 5 years. That's pretty amazing.
And of course, there's the cost. Some of these chemical recipes need rare, super expensive materials, cobalt being the big one. And the more of that stuff you need, the higher the price tag is going to be on that new phone or that new EV. It's a direct hit to the wallet. And finally, we have performance. This is all about how the battery holds up in the real world. Think about your EV's range suddenly dropping by 1/3 in the winter, or your phone just giving up the ghost because it's too cold outside. That's performance in a nutshell, and it is a huge deal.
All right, we have our scorecard, we know what we're looking for, so let's meet the main players in the battery game and see how they actually stack up. So first up is lithium cobalt oxide, or LCO. This is the OG. The veteran. It's the chemistry that made our super slim phones and laptops possible in the first place. Its superpower? Cramming a ton of energy into a very, very small space. But it pays for that superpower with some big trade-offs. It has a short life, it's not as safe, and it has almost no oomph to speak of.
Next, let's meet lithium iron phosphate, or LFP. Now, think of this one as the workhorse. It's not flashy, it's not going to win any speed records, but it is incredibly tough and famously safe. It's got fantastic thermal stability and can last for thousands of cycles. Its only real drawback is that it's a bit on the heavy and bulky side for the power it delivers. And now for the reigning champ, MMC, which stands for nickel, manganese, cobalt. This is the Swiss Army knife of the battery world. It's the great all-rounder. It might not be the absolute #1 in any single category, but it does everything really, really well. It has this fantastic balance of energy, power, and lifespan, which is why it's the go-to choice for most EVs on the road today.
And the secret to its success is just brilliant chemistry. You see, nickel gives you that awesome energy, but it's a little unstable. Manganese gives you fantastic stability, but not a ton of energy. But when you combine them, it's just like the analogy says. It's like table salt. You take two elements that are kind of gnarly on their own, put them together, and you get something incredibly useful. It's just genius.
And finally, we have NCA, which is nickel, cobalt, aluminum. This is the long-distance runner, the marathoner of the group. It is laser-focused on one single goal, squeezing out every last drop of energy for the longest possible range. But just like a Formula One car, that elite performance comes at a cost. It's more expensive, and it requires some very sophisticated management to keep it safe.
So with all these different battery personalities, how does a car company actually pick the right one for the job? Well, let's zoom in on the toughest testing ground of all, electric cars. This table really just cuts right through the noise, doesn't it? You can see the trade-offs in plain black and white. If you want the absolute safest battery that's going to last the longest, LFP is the undisputed king. But if all you care about is getting the absolute maximum number of miles from a charge, then NCA is playing in a whole other league. So it all boils down to what you care about most. If you're a city commuter just driving to work and back, then a cheaper, ultra-durable LFP battery makes a ton of sense. But if you're a road warrior driving hundreds of miles a day for work, you're going to prioritize the maximum range you can only get from NMC or NCA. It's about picking the right tool for the job.
But here's the really exciting part. This whole conversation, this entire scorecard of trade-offs that we just went through, it is all about to be completely rewritten.
Right now, labs all over the world are developing the next generation. We're talking about things like solid-state batteries that are totally non-flammable, or lithium-air batteries that could, in theory, power a car for 1,000 miles. And this isn't science fiction. This is the future that engineers are building as we speak. And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As we move into this fully electric future, the choices we make aren't just about technology anymore, they're about our values. Which one of these trade-offs is going to matter most to us as a society? Will it be the battery that can take us the farthest? The one that absolutely everyone can afford? Or the one that is, without question, the safest? The answer to that is going to define the world we build.